Welcome to the latest data and research initiative of the Center for Regional Analysis at George Mason University's Schar School of Policy and Government. This initiative is sponsored by CRA's longtime partner, the Northern Virginia Association of Realtors, as part of our NVAR GMU Market Forecast Project. I am Dr. Terry Clower, Director of the Center for Regional Analysis, and your host for this video series. The world of April 2020 is much different than we expected it to be at the start of the year. Social distancing was more about seating charts at charity dinners than matters of personal safety. And we actually complained about not having enough time with our families. The novel coronavirus has created a global public health crisis not seen in 100 years. In this initiative, we will monitor and report on economic data focused largely on Northern Virginia and the Washington, D.C. metropolitan region. However, we will also report on key national data trends for two reasons. The first is simply for context. While Northern Virginia and the D.C. region are still tied closely to the federal government, we are more market-driven than ever before. Secondly, the speed at which we are having to respond to the market changes caused by the COVID-19 pandemic means that our usual data sources on local economic performance are not timely enough to be particularly helpful. Therefore, this series will focus on real-time or as near to real-time data as we can get. While sticking to valid and reliable data sources, our goal is to do simply this: working with our partners at NVAR and selected data providers, we want to provide you with the most timely and accurate data we can find so that you can better manage your business activities through this health crisis. So let's jump in for a quick review of one key timely data point: initial claims for unemployment. But first, just some context. The first U.S. case of COVID-19 was confirmed in Washington State on January 20th. For the next 6 weeks, we watched this new disease wreak havoc elsewhere. By March the 1st, we only had 30 confirmed cases in the U.S. But then, the explosive nature of the novel coronavirus that causes COVID-19 broke out into an exponential infection rate. Just 3 weeks later, the number of cases multiplied by more than 1,800 times, and then increased again by a factor of more than 10 in the next 3-week period. The response has been closing public schools, banning large gatherings, and in some places banning all gatherings, and imposing travel restrictions for everyone. The travel and tourism industry has been almost shut down, and the hospitality and leisure sector is also greatly impacted. Restaurants are trying to hang on through takeout and delivery service, and personal services have pretty much stopped. If you look at the numbers below and that chart on the right for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, in mid-February, we peaked out for this year at about 29,500, an all-time high. Just a few weeks later, after the initial cases began to explode in the COVID-19, we saw a drop of about 33% in the Dow Jones Industrial Average value down to 18,600. And for reasons that I can't quite explain, we have since seen a partial bounce back, rising to about 23,800 by April 14th. What this shows more than anything is that stock market watchers are getting whiplash as they are trying to figure out what the impacts are going to be of this pandemic on corporate earnings moving forward. This rather unusual looking slide is showing what happened with U.S. initial claims for unemployment over a several year period. As you can see, in the week ending March 14th of this year, we were running at about 282,000 initial claims for unemployment for that given week. A week later, that number had jumped to 3.3 million. Now, to put this into context, if we consider back in the Great Recession, the worst week for initial claims for unemployment occurred in the nation in late March of 2009, and peaked out at about 661,000. And we weren't done. The following week, March 28th, we saw another about doubling of folks claiming initial claims for unemployment at 6.6 million. We did see a slight drop in the week of April 4th, the most recent data that we have available at this time, but still running above 6.6 million. Importantly, this number probably understates the total number of folks that have been put out of work. First, because there was such a mad rush into the unemployment systems that folks were having trouble getting on, either through the phone, online, and certainly many of the offices were closed down in some states. So you had folks that simply couldn't get in to make their claim for unemployment. The second is, remember that under our traditional models of unemployment insurance, people that work in the gig economy and other independent contractors like realtors don't typically qualify for unemployment. So these numbers do not reflect those individuals. The story is much the same for the Commonwealth of Virginia. In the week ending March 14th, we saw 2,700 initial claims for unemployment. The following week, that had jumped up to 46,000. And you can put that into context with the worst period of the Great Recession, the week ending January 10th of 2009, at just under 22,000 initial claims for unemployment. The week ending March 28th, we saw that rate accelerate to 112,000 initial claims, and we even saw further escalation the week ending April 4th at 147,000. In other sessions in this series, we will focus on data specific to local real estate markets, review the industries that are particularly vulnerable to COVID-caused disruptions, report on the most recently released economic data, and explore how we can collectively move forward from this crisis. On behalf of the entire CRA and NVAR team, be well, be safe, and we will hope to see you in person soon. You can find further information on this and other topics at our websites www.cra.gmu.edu and www.nvar.com. Thank you very much.